Hey guys, I'm Ivan Bruce. This is for Speech 103. I'm going to allow time for my audience to come in now. I'm going to talk to you today about why Walt Disney World is the best vacation that there is. Um, when you're thinking about a Walt Disney World trip, you have several things that you have to consider and think about. You have to think about accommodations. You have to think about where you're going to travel. Are you going to drive? Are you going to fly? You have to think about getting fast passes and then your dining options. When you're thinking about accommodations, some of the things you have to think about is, do you want to stay off site or do you want to stay on site? The on site resorts, they have the value resorts, they have the moderate level resorts, and they have the deluxe resorts. The value level resorts are things that we have stayed at, like the All Star Sports Resort, the Art of Animation, and Pop Culture. Moderate resorts are resorts that we have stayed at, like Del Coronado and Disney Caribbean Springs. Then there is deluxe resorts like we are coming from you today, the Grand Floridian Hotel. Now, each resort has its different themes. The value level resorts are, as an example, the Art of Animation is themed after the animated movies. You have the Lion King section, you have the Cars section, you have the Finding Nemo section. We have stayed in the Finding Nemo and the Cars section, and the rooms are decorated in the style of whatever section you're staying in. And then there are pools in each section that are themed after the movies. Then we have stayed at the moderate level resorts. The Coronado Springs, for example, is an Aztec theme. The main pool in it has a temple pyramid with a water slide coming out of the top of it. And then you have the deluxe resorts, which we are at today, the Grand Floridian. This is based on what Palm Springs would have looked like in what you would say its glory days. They have a main pool in the middle with a water slide, and then they have a couple of ancillary pools, and it is right on the lake and one stopover on the tram from Magic Kingdom. Now, I think it's a no-brainer that if you're going to come to Disney, you need to stay on site because you get so many added extras when you stay on site. You can get the fast passes. You can, with your Magic Band, everything is linked to your Magic Band like I have on here. This is your room key. This is your swipe for your fast passes. This is also, if you want to purchase the dining plan, this is what you swipe for your dining plan. You can get those options by staying on site. So therefore, I do believe that staying on site is the best, and I would recommend that. I have always thought in the past that the value resorts were the best way to go because you're not in your hotel very often. But let me tell you, after being at the Grand Floridian this week, I don't know that there's any going back. The prices range from around $100 to the value to upwards of $500 for the deluxe resorts. Now, the other thing you have to consider is transportation. Are you going to fly? Or for us, it's about a 12 or 14-hour drive, and that depends on how many stops you make and if you get a reckless driving ticket in Virginia for speeding over 15 miles per hour. A little humor there. But we have done both. The argument for flying and versus driving is when you fly, it takes about 4 hours. You can't fly straight from Charleston, so you have to connect, and we have connected every time in Charlotte. If you drive to Huntington, you can fly direct to Orlando International Airport, and you've got a couple hours there. Again, I've already said if you drive, it'll take 12 to 14, but the experience you get from bonding with the family is like no other. And it's almost like the Griswolds at times, but it is well worth it. Then once you get down here, if you've driven, you can, once you get here, if you stay on site, you can use all of the Disney transportation, the trams, the buses, the waterways to get back and forth. The other good thing for staying on site is the Disney dining plan. You can have several options to choose from. You can do quick service, which is kind of like chicken nuggets and hamburgers and sandwiches, or you can do the deluxe dining plan, which is what we have done as well. And that will include one quick service. You could use two quick services to use for breakfast and lunch, and then a set-down service you can use for dinner. The quick services for breakfast would be like Mickey waffles and bacon. And then lunch, again, I've already mentioned that. And then the dining experiences that you have at the sit-down restaurants are just unheard of. My wife had told me that the best steak I would ever have, I would have here, and I have had that at Le Cellier. It is the best steak I have ever had. You can also dine with the princesses or the characters. You also get a resort mug. It's refillable anytime while you're here during your stay. You can fill it up as many times as you want, any beverages that you want, not adult beverages, of course, but that's also part of the dining plan. A little history about Walt Disney World. According to Walt Disney World, it was built in 1971. Magic Kingdom alone has about 20 million visitors each year. So there are times that it can be pretty packed. A couple of things that you want to remember when you're going on vacation to Disney World is, if you're not from Florida, if you've not been to Florida a lot, bring ponchos, because it will rain, and it will rain for about 10 minutes and then it will be done. So bring ponchos, bring sunscreen, because it obviously does get hot. Drink plenty of water, and prepare to have a magical time, because you are in fact at the happiest place on earth. And there's nothing quite like a Disney World vacation. And compared to beach vacations, compared to other vacations, I feel like that this is the best opportunity that you have to have a great time with your family. And Disney World is absolutely the best vacation that you can possibly do.